Guys, welcome back to Los Vikingos TV, and today I'm going to be talking about the Isco and Solari situation. The reason why I'm doing this is because Real Madrid does not have a midweek game, so I was trying to get something out so that you guys would have something to watch. So before I even get started, I actually had a question on the last video, and that was from Bills and Pulp, and he asked, "Do you think bringing on a fourth attacker was an effort to produce something Lopetegui didn't achieve, which was more goals?" And yeah, obviously, I think every coach is going to try and score more goals and win a game. I just don't think it was the right substitution for a coach because sometimes messing with the balance doesn't always achieve more goals. Not every if you look at Jose Mourinho when he was coach at Real Madrid scored their highest goals count ever, which was I believe in the hundreds, and they played counterattacking football where they sat deep and countered, and they could do that because they had the likes of Mesut Ozil, Kaká, Cristiano Higuain, Benzema, Angel Di Maria, the list goes on. And then they also played with Sami Khedira and Luka Modric or Xabi Alonso in a double pivot. So, they had the balance, so they were able to do that, and they scored the most goals ever. So, just because you bring on another attacker doesn't mean you're going to score more goals because then you start messing with the balance of the team. By taking out Ceballos, they lost the balance of the team, and, they lost a midfield presence. And even though Ceballos didn't play great, he was actually he helped bring balance to getting the ball up the pitch. When you get overrun in the midfield, 4-2 or 3-2, you're not going to be able to get the ball up the pitch. But so I'm going to get started. So on October 29th, Solari took over as interim manager. 2 weeks later, he was named the manager on a permanent basis. This is required by Spanish football that you can only be an interim manager for 2 weeks, then the team has to find a permanent manager. So that's what Florentino Perez decided to do. The player who was most upset about this was Isco. So Lopetegui had coached Isco through the Spanish youth ranks, U17, U19, U21, before he got called up to the national team, where Isco worked with him again. And so Isco was also quoted saying a week before the Barcelona thrashing, if you sack Lopetegui, then you should sack all of us. So I won't go into detail about them, but Isco was Lopetegui's most consistent performer as the Spain coach, and it was also said that they got along quite well. And even when Lopetegui gave Isco kind of a sporadic starter role with Real Madrid between him and Asensio, Isco was okay with that because Lopetegui had earned the respect of Isco Real Madrid for a few years. So the rocky start with Zidane and Ancelotti are just the two coaches that he's had, other than Rafa Benitez. But not like Rafa Benitez was here long enough to have a good relationship with. So it kind of started when they were doing a rondo drill, and Solari wanted them to count the passes. So every time they made a pass, they would say the team would in unison say what number it was. And Isco kind of laughed at this and thought that it was kind of childish, and like Isco was like, "I'm a professional footballer. I don't need to count my passes." And ever since then, Solari and him have had kind of a rocky relationship. And this probably could have been put to bed if they would have talked it out, but neither of them did. So after the fast forward a little while, you get to the Ibar game, where I believe Isco is coming off the bench for 22 minutes. And after, Isco refuses to shake the hands of Solari. And after that, they gave the excuse for Solari to bench him. I don't think Solari has had an issue with Isco until that moment. I think he might have had a stylistic issue where Isco might not have fit into his ideals of playing and his tactics, but I don't think he had an issue with Isco before that moment where Isco had said something under his breath, and then the not shaking the hands thing really gave Solari that push to be like, okay, I'm done. Like, you're gonna, you want to disrespect me? I'm your fucking coach. Like, you don't get to disrespect me. So after that, Isco gets put in the stands for the Roma game, which is Champions League, which is where Isco actually plays well most of the time. If you look at some of his best performances, like Atletico Madrid, where he was the best player on the field, second leg in the Vincent Calderon, scored the game-winning goal after Benzema made a crazy move. Not the game-winning goal, the tie-winning goal. That we ended up losing that game 2-1. But if we didn't score that goal, it could have been a different outcome. Maybe we don't go on to win the Champions League final. Where Isco actually played amazing again against Juventus. So It's not like Isco doesn't have a knack for playing well in Champions League, especially, he has a knack for playing well in big games. And, it's kind of bad when you're sitting your most talented player according to the players on the team. Marcelo was quoted saying that Isco is the most talented player on the roster this year. I mean, obviously, when you take Ronaldo out of the mix, and I'm sure you can make an argument that Isco might be more talented than Ronaldo. Ronaldo is a freak of nature. He definitely works harder than Isco. Isco's, people complain that Isco's overweight. Isco doesn't work hard. He doesn't work hard in practice. So, I mean, talent doesn't, they say working hard beats talent, but, talent also can prevail when it works hard. So Isco kind of works hard when he wants to. So he obviously can. So then after he gets that for the Roma game, the Spanish media starts, pressing Solari at week in, week out. Why isn't Isco playing? And Solari just always says something pleasant about Isco. He was once quoted saying, he's a very important player. I'm counting on him just like I am with the other 23. So Solari here was kind of throwing a jab at Isco, in my opinion. He was saying that, yeah, Isco's an important player, but so is everybody else. And Solari's not wrong, but, you didn't have to throw Isco under the bus like that, in my opinion. Again, not helping your situation with Isco. You guys are supposed to be adults. You guys should work this out, but, they're both acting like children. Fast forward again to the team Christmas party. So Real Madrid has a Christmas. Florentino Perez throws the football and basketball team a Christmas party every single year. With this, they end up having dinner and all this kind of stuff. And at this Christmas party, Florentino Perez ends up getting up there and giving a speech. And in that speech, apparently, I was not there, this is just according to reports, he had said something to Solari about, hey, maybe you should give Isco some more minutes. So, fast forward again to the Real Betis game. Before the game, Sergio Ramos was quoted saying that the relationship between Solari and Isco is complicated and may not be repairable. So, when you have your captain coming out to the media and saying that, you're pretty much at a loss for words. Damn, this probably won't get any better. And, here comes the slap in the face to Isco, in my opinion. The biggest slap in the face. We're playing against Real Betis. Benzema breaks his finger. And Solari has Isco on the bench. But he instead chooses to bring on Castilla player Cristo Gonzalez, who, for all we know, may never play on the first team again, instead of Isco. We're lucky we got out of that game with a win. But, again, so, fast forward again some more to Leganes. That is the last game Isco has started. He played 68 minutes and Solari took him off because the team ended up losing 1-0. But the team looked like crap anyway, and it wasn't Isco's fault that they were playing without a striker. First Vinicius played as a striker, and then, they moved Isco to the middle, and again, it did not look good. But Isco refused to shake his hand, so Solari again, big issues. Even before that game, Isco had only started 2 matches. I believe that Isco, I saw a report saying that Isco has spent the most minutes on the bench other than Keylor Navas in La Liga this year. And that is counting all the time he had played with Lopetegui, which is insane. He always got off to rocky starts with coaches. Maybe because he doesn't fit the Real Madrid way. But Zidane literally changed his system for Isco. He used to run a 4-3-3 every single time. Then Isco came into the fold and he ran a 4-4-2 diamond. And they ran it to perfection with Isco at the tip of the diamond, Casemiro at the back of the diamond, then Tony on the left, Modric on the right, Ronaldo at top, and Benzema at top. And, they ran that 4-4-2 perfectly. But, he's also been a very important player under Lopetegui and Luis Enrique. But you can argue that Isco is more of a Spanish player than a Real Madrid player. His style of play suits the Spanish style or the Barcelona style, per se, more than it does fit the Real Madrid style, which is quick passes, lots of dribbling, tight spaces. And, Isco kind of just doesn't, Real Madrid kind of plays flashy football, but they kind of play high scoring football, where Isco kind of holds onto the ball a lot, and that's more possession based, like that Barcelona plays. So maybe that's why he fits better for Lopetegui and Luis Enrique than he ever did for Ancelotti, Zidane, and now Solari. So also, we fast forward again to recently. Ruben de la Red commented on the Isco situation. He said, Isco has to realize that Real Madrid doesn't wait for anyone. Every player in the squad is good enough to take your place, and so whoever isn't performing to the required level will be left behind. Isco then responded and said, I completely agree with De La Red. When you are not getting the same opportunities as your teammates, things change. Despite that, I'm continuing to work hard and battling for the moment when those opportunities arrive. A la Madrid. Isco. Honestly, I love it. I love this comment. Because I just think it goes to show that, whether, we're not there seeing if Isco's trying hard. We're not in the locker room. Because a lot of players have been quoted saying, Nacho, Cruz, Marcelo have all been quoted saying, Isco just needs to try harder. And then Solari will give him a chance. Well, if Isco says he's giving his all, then I'm going to take his word for it, because coaches in the past have not liked Isco's qualities, but then they start to like him. Because, if Isco works harder and shows those qualities, Solari won't have a choice. But, if Isco is working harder and he's showing those qualities and Solari isn't giving him the opportunity, which I don't think he is. Isco's only played garbage time minutes, which is bullshit. Isco deserves big time minutes. Isco's a big time player. He's arguably a top 5 player in the world when on form. Go look at his game against Italy, where he literally, he made Verratti look terrible. He made Verratti look like he was a little kid. How many times he made him look stupid. Isco is one of the most talented players in the world, and this dude is not letting him show his qualities. And like I said before, other managers had trouble with Isco before, and eventually Isco showed his qualities and showed that he is an amazing player. So today, as of today, Isco is out with a back injury. I'm not sure if it's actually a back injury. I'm not sure what's going on with him, but I don't know if he just has a back injury because he's upset. I don't know if it's just he actually has a back injury. So we'll see. So and Isco are kind of in the same boat. They're both considered out of shape by Pintas, who's the fitness coach, and so that might be part of the reason why Solari is not playing them. But there's obviously a lack of effort from Marcelo, who's the vice captain, and Solari continues to say wonderful things about him in press conferences. But, when Marcelo's on the pitch, Real Madrid are conceding a goal every 53 minutes. Isco has been an unused substitute 3 out of the 4 games he was on the bench, last on the bench, because he's been injured for the past 2 weeks. So I don't understand why Marcelo's allowed to be given minutes, yet Isco's not even getting garbage time minutes, which he was before. I get that you have people coming back from injuries with Asensio, Bale, Mariano, but still, Isco is, just as talented, maybe even, when on form, more talented than those guys. So I really don't understand why Marcelo continues to get chances, who's been poorer and in less form, and has, a bad attitude on the pitch of not tracking back and, letting guys get behind, when Isco doesn't actually have that issue. And Isco obviously has an attitude on the pitch, but Isco tries. He created a hockey assist, or a secondary assist, as they say in the hockey world, for a goal when he came on as a sub in that one game he had actually played out of the 3 or 4. But we need to come to a solution here. So is Isco on the move? Quite possibly. I mean, he could be gone in the summer, especially if Solari stays on as coach. Isco is good as gone in the summer, which will break my heart because I love Isco. Maybe Madrid want to keep him, and they may look for maybe a loan option, kind of like they did with James. But, I know Isco loves Madrid, and Madrid loves Isco. The media loves Isco, especially. All the fans would hate to see him go. My opinion on the situation is I don't think Solari likes Isco very much. Like I said, whether it's tactically or attitude, but I felt that Isco probably didn't have a great attitude at first, because his someone who had coached him for years, who he had loved, Lopetegui, was fired, and I understand that, and maybe Isco was upset at first, but I bet he's over it by now. I think both men need to be that. They need to both be men, do what's best for the team. Isco needs to give his 100%, and Solari needs to give him a chance to prove that he can be an integral part of this team, the way that Zidane eventually did, and he started 2 Champions League finals along the way, and Isco has the talent to do this. I mean, maybe part of the reason we sometimes lack goals is because we don't have that person who can make that final pass. That penetrating ball through the back line onto Benzema on a run, or Vinicius on a run. I mean, imagine having Isco and Vinicius on the field, with Vinicius making runs and Isco being able to actually play good balls into his run every single time, because that's what Isco's qualities are. He's strong with through balls over the top on on the floor anywhere. Isco's he's a great passer, and Real Madrid could really use that from time to time, especially in the Champions League. Like Ajax is going to be a tough game, but there's going to be bigger fish to fry than Ajax. We got Barcelona coming up twice. So it's going to be tough, and Solari's going to need Isco, in my opinion. And if he doesn't use him, I'd be very surprised. Like, I get the team's playing well now, and haven't really played well. They have played well without Isco, but I think the team could really, really use a guy like Isco because they have nobody in the team who has his type of qualities. Thank you guys for listening. I just want to say, Hala Madrid, and I'll be back on the game on Sunday. I'll be on the podcast with Managing Madrid. You guys should give that a listen. And also, if you liked what you heard, you should subscribe. When we don't play midweek, I'll probably be making a video, and I'll try to do 2 videos a week. So stay updated, and if you liked what you heard, click the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Thank you guys.